It was just by circumstance that I got involved because I always want to be on Park and Rec.
Part of the thing with this commission is I think the time,
You know,
some people are still at work.
always being involved in that.
Hard to be here at 12:30.
Always wanted to get back involved in that kind of stuff.
No,
Well, you
he
yourself
had
would
other ambitions.
Kramer was there. I told him I wanted to get involved.
Mike's are
That-
live.
Thank you. I'll call this meeting to order of the Parks and Recreation Commission, April 2nd, 4:30. Please call the roll.
Tim Bending.
Here.
Bobby Erdman.
Here.
Victoria Hill.
Here.
Bruce Tutsky.
Here.
Kayla Reeves. Here.
Thank you. Do we have any general public comments? I have none turned in. So we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. Has everyone had the opportunity to read the March 17th special meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. All right, item 4 is Dakota Miller Kid-to-Kid sale at the Nathan Strong Park. The recommendation is to approve the Kid-to-Kid sale on May 10th. I only know about it because I know his mom, but
Are you guys here for
not
anything?
for that one. No, five. So, without having the ability to ask her questions.
She's done it in the past, so, and there's never been an issue as far as I know.
The feedback that I'd gotten from her last year was that it was very popular, that the kids had a lot of fun, and I know the children involved, and they're very responsible, and they do clean up after themselves well. So I would not be opposed to it, but does anybody have any problem with the petitioner not being here today to answer questions?
No, I think it's a great idea for them, and I appreciate that the leaders are putting this kind of project forward. I'll make a motion to accept the recommendation or the request for the Nathan Strong Park on May 10th for the Girl Scouts Troop 6220.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 5, donkey baseball. That's interesting. If you would like to speak for this, please approach the podium and tell us your name, and if you could speak into the mic, that'd be helpful.
Okay, my name's Rachel Berry, and I'm from St. John, and
Can't
we
hear
are
you at all.
looking
You need to speak a little louder, please.
to do donkey baseball as a fundraiser for our roof at school and at church, or maybe just school, My husband's the vet for the donkey basketball people up in Holcomb, Ladysmith area, so I know them well. We're asking if we can use the park, and I think it was the South Diamond is what Scott recommended, because we could do concessions there, because I think your West Diamond is a Kiwanis, is that, or Kiwanis. So we're asking if we can get the park September 6th or the 13th. It's a Saturday. They are there for an hour. They have an hour and a half allotted for the baseball game. And so we're just asking if we can use your park.
Has these dates specifically been run through Rebecca Bays?
No.
Okay. Without knowing conflicts of interest with rented. Okay.
And are you asking to use the diamond specifically?
I think the diamond would be best, because then, the donkeys wouldn't hurt your grass.
Right.
And so we would be able to rake it up and get it back into the shape that you are accustomed to.
Is there a potential for damage from the donkeys to the diamond at all? Like,
There
would that
should
be-
not be, no. They do basketball as well, and they put little booties on them, so they wouldn't hurt a basketball court. So I'm assuming that they would be safe. So when we would do it as a community, we would invite the community, and wouldn't just be for St. John, but then the proceeds could go for our roof.
I admire the project. I hope it's success, but I think because we don't know a date or a time, it would be difficult to approve this without those pieces of information. So I would
She
like to,
did give 2 dates.
September 6th.
She gave 2
or,
dates.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. but-
Oh, September 6th or the 13th if you had availability. for
September
either.
6th or September 13th.
Okay, we still need to check
Scott Zabel just said that there wasn't
the other
conflict.
calendars to see if there's something else that's approved that date. So I would like to make a motion to postpone the decision on this
Okay,
until we have everything in place.
you bet. Are you looking at a specific time? Should we do it in the morning or afternoon? We could do morning or afternoon. Afternoon, if you have it available, if you guys want to pick the time, we can just work around that.
Scott, you said you're not aware of any conflict on South Diamond? Okay, so Scott said there's no conflict for South Diamond at all. He checked the schedule.
You checked the schedules?
Oh, and I did speak with Scott on the phone earlier, and that's why I knew there was no, you would have the 6th or the 13th available. So I was just seeing what you would like.
Is there a date you would prefer?
The 6th.
The 6th?
What was that?
They would prefer September 6th.
Morning. Right?
Scott, are you worried about when they're raking, I guess, to bring the field back to, I'm just thinking of how deep this is gonna be with hoof prints, like. So
Correct.
you guys are taking care of raking the field? Okay.
Yes.
This is different than just somebody renting it for human use. And I
Oh,
know,
yeah,
I know that
very
hooves,
different.
that hooves are safe on a hardwood floor, but on a sand course, they're gonna dig in a little bit deeper. Like they're not gonna just stand on top of the sand, there's gonna be roots. So I was just making sure that we
Oh,
either
yes.
have the rakes to do it, or you guys, okay.
We will take care of that and make sure any refuge or anything, nothing would be left behind. We're pretty responsible. And 1 o'clock, if that would work, I guess that would be the time we were kind of had in our minds.
If somebody makes a motion for this, I would recommend that you approve both dates, with the understanding that Scott has indicated that both of those days should be clear.
Just in case.
Yeah, I just don't, I don't want to run into something like she's got an approval in the mail that she knows about that we don't know about. That's why these always come to us almost like as complete packets, completely done. Okay.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the St. John Lutheran School Donkey Baseball fundraiser for the dates of September 6th or September 13th at 1 p.m.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
It's a good idea.
With the amendment of having one of the dates as a rain date.
Do you second the
Second.
amendment? Thank you.
Okay.
The motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
If you run into any challenges, difficulties, needs to change dates, know that will need to come back to before the board for approval after you've run the dates and times past Rebecca.
All right, thank you.
It has to come.
No need to apologize. Just, yeah, that's where our hands are tied. Is we can't tell Rebecca what to do. She tells us what to do.
All right,
Thank you.
You guys have a good night.
Okay.
You too.
All right. Item 7, appointment of officers for
What
a
about
term.
friends?
6.
Oh, sorry, I checked off the wrong one. Thank you. Friends of the Berlin Aquatic Center update. We had a recent meeting where we discussed how we were going to move forward this year. It was really a preliminary, how we're going to start attacking some fundraising. We are applying for a raffle license. And we got some reports from Rebecca that kind of showed ticket sales and things like that, but they really didn't help us to the level that we had asked for or have been asking for. So we had been looking for some financial projects, total expenses and incomes for the pool, tracking of passes sold and passes not used, and then sales, concession sales, because some was strictly for the Friends of the Berlin Aquatic Center and some was for others. And so we were looking for that information just as for like how we can enhance the sales that go on there, how we can apply for grants and waivers based off attendance and income. So there's a lot of pieces that we got kind of what was sent to Common Council, which was a little graph that had attendance and things like that, but it wasn't really what we had been asking for or looking for pretty much for the last several months. So we're still putting that out there as a request to the Parks and Rec director for additional information. Also, we were going to come back this month from last month and inquire of staff if they had had a chance to speak with legal about the separation of projects, if we can do small projects at a time. And I think Scott and Rebecca were looking into that at the last meeting. And I don't know if they have any update for that. No updates, okay. So that's that. We're still moving forward, still rock and rolling, still keeping it going. Okay, now on to item 7. Appointment of officers for the term ending in April 2026. Those two terms ending are myself and there was one other.
Bruce.
Tim.
It's Tim. I thought it was Tim. So
Yeah, sorry.
Tim, your term is up and my term is up. I will be declining additional office positions. I will be resigning from the board as of today's meeting. I love you all. I love the work that we've done here. It's all been very, very great, and I'm excited about what we've been able to accomplish in the last decade or so. But I feel like with any board or with any government body, it is always good for new breath, new ideas to step forward and kind of push their agendas and ideas. So for that reason, I think it's a good idea to have turnover in government, and I've already done this commissioner role for a few terms now, so I think it's time to pass her on. And I know how we're always hurting for people, so I feared that if I stayed, I would still be in one or the 3 elected positions, so I figured I better just step down. So, Tim, do you currently hold a position?
No.
Okay. Do you wish to stay on?
Yes.
With the, okay. So that does not require election. You do just let Rebecca know that you do wish to stay on. But because the role of chair is now up for vote, you may nominate a person and they may accept or decline that nomination. And after the nomination phase, then we will move on to voting phase. So do I hear any nominations for the role of chairman?
I would nominate Tim Bending.
Tim, would you?
Oh, hold on.
Oh, sorry, all nominations.
Yes.
Oh, yes,
they know.
that's an additional piece of information, is that the Parks and Rec chair holds a set seat on the Planning Commission. So that meets on the final Tuesday of every month. So if that's going to be conflicting with your schedule. And the reason for that is so as you know the planning growth of the city, it helps you better work with this board. So Tim Bending, are there any other nominations? Tim, would you like to accept that nomination?
Unfortunately, Tuesday nights would be a conflict for me. but also I'm still kind of green to this. I jumped in like, what, in September or
Right.
October, so I'm pretty green to this yet, so I don't know if I'm really ready for the chair position at this point.
Okay.
I would nominate Bruce Tetzky.
I feel like this is gonna be a vicious
It
circle.
is.
Yeah.
It is.
I would decline because I'm not qualified or connected to do that.
I'd like to nominate Kayla Reeves
For whether we,
for commissioner,
chairperson.
chairperson, thank you.
I will accept.
She will accept the nomination.
What the heck?
I know, it's scary. But hey, I usually have the meetings done in half an hour. All right.
Boy.
Kayla Reeves has accepted a nomination. Is there any other nomination to be put forward for chairperson? Hearing none, I'll do.
It only leaves me and I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Well, I know you said you're like here just to save us numbers, so
Yeah.
I didn't want to nominate you against your will.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's do a voice vote, please. Kayla Reeves for commissioner. Secretary, please call the voice vote.
Oh, Tim Bending,
Yes.
Bobby Erdman,
Yes,
Victoria Hill,
Aye.
Bruce Tetzky,
Yes.
Kayla Reeves. Yes.
You can say no.
Yes. That would be a auspicious start to the, okay.
Holy
That passes. Thank you. We have a new chairperson. Congratulations.
Thank
Kayla
you.
So
Reeves.
at what point would you select a new secretary then?
We have to do that immediately.
Okay.
So, our current vice chair is Bruce Tetzky, and his commission is still in force, so we do not need to re-elect vice chair, but now that we need a new secretary, we will need to nominate someone for secretary.
I will nominate Tim Bending for secretary.
We're out of options.
I got a real nice template. I'll forward it to
That
you.
would be
They
nice.
have to be done today, if there's members potentially being added by the next meeting? Could they wait to fill that secretary role until the next, or how does, I'm just curious if there's more members potentially being added.
Well, I don't want, so I had this same issue when I was the secretary. I was created as chairperson at that time when I was secretary. And we immediately nominated a new secretary because the problem is if you're also secretary and you're trying to take notes and run the meeting, it goes real slow while you're like, oh, hold on, I gotta write that down. So you really need a different secretary than the chairperson.
I was just wondering, like, if somebody came on that was willing to do it later on, and I just want to make sure.
But would that person, can you help me on the rules? Would the person taking over the role of secretary only be taking it on for the remainder of her
It's 1 year.
1 year? Okay.
Yeah, it's 1 year.
So you'd only have to do it for a year.
I'm fine.
Okay.
And we're off in the winter, so.
Any other nominations for secretary? Hearing none, we can do the voice vote, please.
Tim Bending.
Aye.
Bobby Erdman.
Aye.
Victoria Hill.
Aye.
Bruce Tetzky.
Aye.
Kayla Reeves. Aye.
The motion carries. We now have a new secretary. Thank you, Mr. Bending, for volunteering.
Starting next meeting.
Starting next month. Yes. Next month. She has to put the minutes out for this one. So, okay, moving on to new business. Is there any new business that needs to come before the commission for discussion in future meetings? Is there any old business we'd like to discuss?
Madam Chairman, I was wondering if we could at some point get an update on what's happening with the bathroom project for Nathan Strong Park.
Oh,
You can't do it now because it's not on the agenda, but
old business.
if another time you can do it, please.
But it's part of old business, I could give it now.
Pardon?
If it's part of old business, I could give an update now.
No, it's not on the, it's not. It's a suggestion of what to go on old business.
Yeah, but it is an old business, so it could be discussed now.
No, it's not on the agenda.
I know, but as old business, you could discuss it now.
These two items are put on there for suggestions for old business and new business.
Okay.
Which you'll have to learn.
So, Kayla,
I know, but I,
if you could note on the minutes to ask the Parks and Rec director to please add an item on next month's meeting for an update on the bathrooms in Nathan Strong Park. That would be helpful.
Yep.
Item 10,
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. We are adjourned. Last
Whoever-
time at the gavel.
Whoever objects to adjourn.
Nobody. Nobody.
I
Yeah.
thought that if it was an old business.
See,
Bye, gavel.
Unless,
You could
unless I'm
just-
home on my desktop computer, here's how I'm connected for the world.
Yeah.
I'm not equipped.
Good night. Good run.
Rebecca does the agendas and stuff, right? So it's
Yes.
Yeah.
So the chair, she reaches out to the chairperson before each meeting to ask if the chairperson wants to add anything to the meeting minutes. But she normally puts the entire meeting minutes together, but the chairperson does have input.
so then I take the minutes, I give them to her, she writes up the
Yes.
stuff and emails it, and when she emails it out to us.
Yes, and she posts it, on the city website, the minutes, so it's helpful to have them within a week or two of, I just found, like, for my calendar, it just always made so much sense to go home the night of the meeting, type it up, send it out, and it's off my brain, and I never think about it.
I can type it up while we do it.
Uh-huh.
Probably send it to her right from here, but we'll
Thanks, guys.
figure that out as we go.
Thanks for everything you've done in the last several years.
Okay, gotta go home and change now.